Hello everyone, welcome to this video on Bama's Karukku, the explanations of the Chapter 6. This video is part of the discussion of the paper Compulsory Foundation Course in English for the 4th semester BCA, BSc at Mangalore University in English language course. So welcome to this video. This video is the continuation of my videos which discussed the earlier 5 chapters. And now here we are going to discuss chapter 6 of the novel. Welcome to this session. So in this part of the video we are going to discuss how Bama represents the food habits of our community in this part of the chapter. Why is it important? Yes, representation of life or society through literature is possible when a writer uses different aspects. A faithful representation is the one which highlights all aspects of living, the way of life, the different practices there in particular community, and all these things. So here again we find that in this part of the novel, she takes up the discussion of the food habits. Food habits used by people is also a replica, or it's a reflection of one's cultural practices too, or one's culture as well. We can see some aspects where Bama tries to prove the uniqueness in their culture through the description of food. So let's see some more examples provided here and there and what Bama gives us through them. So in the beginning she presents the description of the food habits in their family. She starts with the description of the arrival of her father to home from the army. It's his arrival that fills in happiness in the home. Also there was fear. The fear is particularly, what's the fear? That's the question that comes to us. It was joyful because he would bring many things to eat. A lot of dishes, fruits, sweets, biscuits, new clothes, exotic items would come along with her father, and that's why his arrival was on the one way fully joyful, and they will have plenty of things to eat for a few days. But on the other hand, we also see there was fear. What is the fear? The fear of finding bread used to haunt them, because after his return, they would have to work hard, and there would be nothing but coos, right? There would be nothing but coos. That's why only in his presence or his arrival, they can have some kind of rich food, and they can enjoy varieties. That's why his arrival was both mixture of happiness, because his exit would leave them again or subsides them again to the same kind of poverty. It's a kind of fear as well. That's how Bama present that incident. Giving the description of her father's arrival, she takes up the way they had variety of foods, food items in their day-to-day life. So as she says, they had rice and kuzambu only in the evening, maybe the curry that they used to have with rice in the evenings. Of course, most South Indians prefer rice. So similarly, they being Tamil or living in Tamil Nadu, they preferred rice. And coos in the morning at midday. Even in the mornings and at midday, there was coos. Coos, as I told you, it's a gruel or a porridge, or what we say kanji, made up of grain, and it was taken with onions, groundnuts, molded jaggery, and green chilies. This is how they practice their day-to-day main meal of the day and main food of the day, maybe breakfast or even dinner. And if they had money, they would also have a roasted dish of ground gram or pickle from the nadar shop. They would bring some pickle from the nadar shop. Here, the memory of Bama goes to that nadar's pickle, right? So the nadars would give kadichikra, right? Kadichikra was a kind of pickle made by using brinjals and red chilies. It was given for them for a 5 or 10 paisa. Look at the way the cost of that was only 5 and 10 paisa then. Of course, then 5 paisa or 10 paisa was valuable one, right? It was difficult to earn money in such a time. Therefore, they had to they would bring that. That was a valuable thing indeed. So anyhow, then they had good meals. They used to have good meals, butchering a cow or given a little meat, and which they all longed very much. They all liked that meat very much. That's how they used to have good meal on the Sundays. Usually the holidays for them, the meat was just boiled with a touch of salt and divide of masala. So she presents all these things particularly to represent the food habits of them. As I already told you, dear students, this part or representation of food habit is adding something to represent their culture and their identity. Therefore, food habits used among them is also an important aspect to focus on while focusing on the cultural practices of the community, Paraya community, or even Dalits living in that village. So you can also see they would go to lakeside in the evenings, pluck some wild greens like Kupai Kira or Toilu Kira. So we have some names of herbs, particular plants. The leaves of them were used for making or cooking green dishes like what we say ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಬುಳಿ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂತಹ ಡಿಶಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಸಿ they are used for that purpose. Of course, you see these food habit has something to do with the geography, has something to do with the concern for health also. You can see the ancient food habit of preparing curries using green leaves was a preference given to the value those herbs had. On the other hand, that food, the prepared food, was a good food even to the hot weather condition. Therefore, it was complementary to the geographical features of the area as well as health concerns of the people. So we will go ahead. You can see, prepare the curry and eat it with a quickly stirred and stiffened ragi dough. And sometimes they boiled and ate drumstick leaves for it. Yeah, of course, you can see drumstick leaves. They were also invaluable or very rich in sources. They used to have drumstick leaves also. So the part of their life, food system had a lot of importance for even vegetables or green leaves. So during the school days, she assisted her mother in the works like gleaning groundnuts, collecting firewood, taking up dry down. So I think one of the aspects that I noticed while reading the novel is so many elements which are stated in one chapter repeats in the other. So for example, this was discussed in chapter 5, her participation in, or even chapter 4, her participation in her family works. So again, there is reference to that. She was part of that she mentions here again in chapter 6. Then we see sometimes the children would finish whatever grill or porridge there, and leaving their mother had to go hungry. So this is the situation you can see. Mother too probably never felt bad because they felt happiness in their children having their food. That's the greatness of a mother. So you can see here that children left nothing to their parents sometimes. The growing young lives need that kind of food. They ate the entire whatever is cooked in the home, grill or porridge, and they left nothing for their parents sometimes, particularly mother referring here, right? Then you can see the next part where after 8th standard Bama went to convent, that is in the next village, and she stayed at the hostel, which actually demanded high fee, and of course the good food was provided to them. Children were fed well then. It was very comfortable in terms of offering the food and all that, but it was not comfortable for her stay for some reasons that she is going to mention here or even in other chapters. She always felt like running back home. Yeah, sometimes people, when they do not have that ambience which supports their mind wishes, they feel like feel like going back to their place. There is some concept called homesickness, right? So feeling a nostalgia of home only, and a wish to return to home, returning home, that is always there among people who stay away from home for a long time. So here she had that kind of feeling when she joined that hostel while going for 8th standard. But out of the fear of her elder brother and mother, she stayed there. There was a fear, right? If she came home, if she went home, probably she would have been punished there. Therefore, out of the fear, she stayed at the hostel. That was a good fear, I think, needed for her growth. Then the children there in that hostel wore fine clothes, kept nice things to eat. They were rich, which made her conclude that those children must be from upper caste. The way of living they possessed, the riches they had, the cloth they wore, the food they ate, all these concluded her to that they belonged to upper caste. It's on the one hand looks like prejudices to consider somebody or perceive somebody so, but on the other hand it is the experience of Bama's life. Wherever she saw the people belong to upper caste, they possessed that kind of thing, and this made her conclude them so. Anyhow, then we see she wondered how they had fine clothes and good food, realized that they had money, unlike low caste who had no money either. Though that was the realization, she had money matters for all these things, and it is the money that decides the way of life. Therefore, then, so along with the food habit, we are introduced to their social status gradually here, right? So decided to study then hard because of realizing all these pains. She decided to study hard and make good progress in her life. Thus, we see in this part of the chapter, she presents the details regarding the food habits followed by Bama's family. Along with that, we see the shift that her life underwent from her family life to a hostel life during the 8th standard. And it reveals how she had difficulties at the hostel. Along with, we also see difficulties she had in finding her daily bread, right? Daily bread and food anna kandukollikiranta kashtagallannu kuda ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. The differences between the upper caste and the lower caste that she witnessed is evident in the description of the children who stayed at the hostel during her high school life. Thus, by taking different instances and her life experience, he projects that a kind of Dalit identity, along with highlighting what are the hindrances or troubles that Dalits have in India. Thank you for watching this part of the video. We will discuss the continued part of the chapter 6 in the next video. See you.